I really need someone to go into my brain and just take out all of the stupid ideas, you know? Knife, round 50. Come on now. This also isn't the first time we have done knife-only focus challenge. You may remember the knife-only on all games video from months ago, and there's a reason it was months ago, because that day actually ruined my mental. Like, it tore it in two, chewed it up, spat it out, ruined. But because I don't learn from my mistakes, here we are. Because this is a round 50, I get to choose where we go for this one, and I opted to start with Black Ops 2. Now this is knife only, meaning the starting knife and the Bowie knife only. No galvanicles, no sickles, no shovels, just the knives. Now Black Ops 2 was a dumb choice, and I realize that now. You see, in my head, the Bowie knife on this game is just as powerful as the Galvas, mainly down to the fact who uses the Bowie knife in Black Ops 2. If you're gonna use melee, Galvas all day long, which may have warped my perception of other weapons in this game. The Bowie knife in Black Ops 2, it isn't that good. Round 10, it's no longer a one hit, which is a little disappointing, which means every round after round 10 is a struggle, but because I am just incredible as zombies, I made it to round 18 before dying. And yes, it did take me all 4 of my quick revives, but round 18, knife only, on Black Ops 2, isn't awful. Of course, Black Ops 2 is not the most optimal place for a challenge like this, and neither is Black Ops 3. In fact, there are 2 games as to where the knife challenge is viable. The main being Cold War. The knife and most of the melee weapons in that game are ridiculously overpowered, especially the shovel. Big up Shovel Gang. But the other game is Black Ops 4. All thanks to one singular perk, Ethereal Razor. We start our Black Ops 4 escapade on Alpha Omega. The choices of map for this challenge came down to 2. Obviously the map I chose, and also classified. I opted to go with Alpha Omega simply down to familiarity, as I've played a grand total of 2, maybe 3 games of classified in my life. I won't lie, there was one major issue with doing this on Alpha Omega. I have no idea where the Bowie knife was. So I spawned in with my Strife and only used the bayonet. I then spent the next 10 full minutes running around this goddamn map looking for this knife. But the best part about this, that in that time I got the power on. And where is the Bowie knife located? In the generator room where you turn on power. I just didn't spot it at all and then proceeded to waste 10 minutes of my life, like the idiot I am. With the knife acquired, I got my perks together, and the perks I was running were Winter's Wail, Quick Revive, Dying Wish, which definitely wasn't the best choice, and finally, in the tonic slot, Ethereal Razor. Now I didn't know this at the time, but with Ethereal Razor in the tonic slots when all of your perks are active, Ethereal Razor becomes an infinite one hit. Admittedly, it's not nearly as powerful as it sounds, as it only works with the lunge animation with your knife, so it's basically like a high risk, high reward kind of thing. Even with that, this run was still ass. Straight up, round 13, I take my first down, as I'm trying to build the shield. It's fine though, right? Early game, so I can still get my perks back and we'll be groovy. I then take a second down. The next round, just after recovering my perks, which is just phenomenal for me. And the round after that, I died. So first run on Black Ops 4 was not good, so I ran it back. This time on Classified. Now I'm not gonna lie, I was not confident going into this one. Not only did I just have a nightmare of a run, I was now also playing a map I have very little knowledge about. So yeah. I did know, however, that the Bowie knife was in the very bottom section of the map, thanks to the original 5. My only problem was I didn't know exactly where, so yet again, I had to spend way too much time looking for this stupid knife. Luckily for me though, it's a small area. I'm not gonna make that joke, I am better than that. But long story short, it didn't really take me that long to find the knife this time around. But I did go down just before buying it, so there's that. Perks were once again the main need now that I had my knife, and it took me a while, but I eventually got the points, and around 9, all 4 of my perks were now mine. I didn't really know where to train on this map. A part of me wanted to head to Area 51 and try to train there, but I had no idea how to actually get there, and I am way too lazy to look at a guide, so I just settled with training around the 2nd floor, and it worked. With the Ethereal Razor, the Bowie knife was a one hit no matter what until about round 13 or 14, and then a 2 hit for the next 10 or so rounds with like the offhand swipe melee, and a 1 hit with a lunge, obviously because the Ethereal Razor is just a godsend. And with that, it made getting through the teen rounds a doddle. Even once I made it into the 20s, I wasn't really struggling too much. Sure, the knife was now only a one hit via the lunge attack, but it wasn't too bad. Thanks to there not being too many zombies, the rounds went by fairly easily. However, things did start to slow down quite drastically as I closed in on the 30s. Things weren't necessarily any harder. Yes, there were more zombies, and yes, the knife was weaker, but I wasn't like struggling. The lunge attack was good for taking down any newly spawned zombies, as they were mostly always desolate. I didn't have to worry about lunging at the wrong zombies, and I was using my wraith fires and my special weapon a lot now, which was a sword, so just think of it like a really big knife. I was also now using my elixirs a lot more. The main one I was using being shields up, as I built my shield on the bottom floor and I knew I'd basically be signing my own death warrant if I went down there at this kind of round, so I used the elixir. I also had swordfly active, which makes your melee a one hit no matter what for 60 seconds. Yes, this is a little OP, especially when you throw a Theorazor in there, so that's why I didn't start using it until after round 35. In fact, the first round I did use it was around 37, and it got me downed. Now, did I get a little bit too cocky now that I had a super juice knife? Possibly. Will I blame absolutely anything other than myself for that down? Yes. Upon reviving, I didn't really want to go and get my perks, as once again, probably would have ended with me dead. I also didn't want to use my perker, but I did. I'd rather use the Perkaholic than die. So, here we are. However, the Perkaholic did give me just absolute trash. Like, every single bonus perk was just useless to me. Like, you know it's bad when Zombshell is your best perk. Like, come on. I may have gotten some grade A stinky perks, but I kept on going and going. The knife was definitely struggling more now with the offhand swipe, as it was now taking over 10 hits just to take out a single zombie. Even with Stronghold, it was tickling them. It didn't stop me from moving through the rounds, and eventually we hit round 40. At this point, I'm as confident as I'll ever be. From starting this run thinking I wouldn't get past round 20 to being 10 rounds off of 50, I was feeling pretty damn good. Then the game decided to lunge attack when I didn't want it to, killing me. I didn't have that problem once the entire game. Not even once did I get unwanted lunge until right then on round 40. I wanted an offhand swipe, I got a lunge, and it also got me dead, and my heart was shattered. We end our game on round 40. Now, as I said at the beginning of this video, it was around 50, and I meant it. So I booted up Cold War and got to it. We load in with the knife, purple tier and all, activate Rampage Inducer because I'm a psycho, and got to it. I spent 6 full rounds in the spawn room grinding out as many points as I possibly could. Once the points had been gathered, I went and got the power on, and along the way I picked up some perks. I then went a few more rounds to round 10 to be exact, where I then turned the Rampage Inducer off as I learned it was a dumb idea to have it on in the first place after almost dying about 5 times. With that done, we got more points and then upgraded the knife, as yes, I can pack-a-punch my knife in this game. If only I could have done that in Black Ops 4. The knife as well, by the way, is just stupid good in this game. I mean, the shovel's better, but the knife is no joke. Like, it's serious business once it's maxed out. There is one downside to the knife and Cold War. This game doesn't have a Theorazor, which should have been brought back instead of the trash that is Death Perception or Tombstone. That means to get to around 50, I have to take out every single zombie individually, and if I did that, I'd probably commit. So I put Shadow Blast on my knife, and it made everything so much easier. Granted, I didn't equip Shadow Blast until round 15, as I was fed up of torturing myself. But it took me roughly 20 minutes to go from round 1 to 15, which is quite slow for Cold War. It then took me 30 minutes to go from 15 to 30, as Shadow Blast just wrecked anything and everything. It's actually a cheat code. Once I hit round 30, I also had the knife maxed out and was dealing a little over 62,000 damage, which is nuts in itself too. But obviously, I didn't want to have to kill over 3,500 zombies individually, so even with that damage, Shadow Blast was still king. Shadow Blast didn't just carry me through the 20s and the 30s, although I did take it down around 32, but that was mainly due to me just being a tit. The ammo mod also carried me all the way through the 40s, all the way up to around 50. So yeah, the knife was pretty much just used as a transportation device for Shadow Blast. Around 50. It was done. I will say Black Ops 4 is definitely the MVP on this one, as the knife actually does about 90% of the work there. And with that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and let me know in the comments what are the challenges or zombie content you want to see from me. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.